close your eyes. If there is a light still on near you, let it go. Let the room find its natural darkness. Let your shoulders drop from wherever they've been holding themselves all day. Take a breath in and out. You've made it here, through all of it, the noise, the brightness, the weight of whatever today asked of you. You've made it to this quiet hour and this quiet room and this voice, and that is enough. I want to take you somewhere tonight. Not far, not loud. Somewhere that requires you to do nothing except breathe, listen, and let the images form slowly behind your closed eyes. We're going to a dressing room. It is the year 1772. The room is in a grand house just outside of Paris. Not the palace itself, close enough that the palace sets the rules for everything that happens here. The walls are papered in a pale, dusty blue. The curtains are heavy. They haven't been opened today. The fire in the corner of the room has been burning since before dawn, and the air smells of beeswax, something older, something faintly metallic, like the inside of a coin pressed between two fingers. There is a mirror on the table in front of you. It is tall, gilded. The frame is ornate, carved cherubs at the corners, their faces soft and worn from years of being touched. The glass itself is slightly warped, the way old glass always is, so that your reflection bends slightly at the edges. Curves inward reminds you that even mirrors have their own distortions. And on the table before the mirror, the table that your maid has arranged before you arrived, there is a row of objects, a ceramic jar, white, smooth, sealed, a small flat dish, the color of dried blood, a velvet box, no larger than a matchbox, filled with tiny dark shapes, glass bottle of something clear with a stopper made of ivory, and a brush resting on a folded cloth, its bristles soft, almost impossibly soft, made from something you have never asked the name of and never will. You are about to sit down at this table and begin the most important hour of your day. And by the end of it, you will be beautiful. And you will be slowly, quietly, and with perfect elegance, dying. Both of these things are true at exactly the same time. That is the story we are going to tell tonight. Get comfortable. Pull the covers a little closer if they've slipped. Let your hands rest somewhere they don't have to hold anything. Here we go. Let us begin with the jar. Your maid lifts it from the table with both hands. She is careful with it. More careful than she is with the silver candlesticks. More careful than she is with the gilded mirror itself. She sets it in the center of the work table and removes the lid with a slow, practiced turn. The substance inside is white, not the white of fresh linen, not the white of the candles burning in the sconces behind you. This is a different white, a heavier white, the white of chalk cliffs seen from a ship in pale morning light, or the white of the first thin layer of snow on stone before anything has walked. Through it, it is called ceruse, and it is at its core a simple thing. White lid that has been exposed to vinegar, left to corrode over weeks in a warm stable, the fumes of the horse's breath helping the process along in a way that no one in this room could explain, but everyone accepts because it works. The corrosion is collected, dried, ground down to a fine powder between two stones, and then mixed here in this room with a small quantity of egg white to help it adhere. Sometimes rose water, sometimes simply water. The exact ratio is a secret your maid carries in her hands, in the feeling of the consistency, in the way it moves when she stirs it. She stirs it now. Listen to that sound, the slow scrape of the spatula. It is silver, that spatula, because iron will discolor the mixture, moving in a steady, circular motion against the ceramic bowl. There is almost no sound, just a faint whisper of contact, like the sound of a finger being drawn slowly across a clean table. She lifts the spatula. The mixture clings to it, white and thick and slightly luminous, and it falls back into the bowl in a slow, heavy ribbon. It is ready. Now she turns to you. You have been sitting still during all of this. Not impatiently, you have done this every day for 11 years. Patience in this room is not something you have to practice. It has simply become the texture of this hour. You sit with your spine straight from discomfort, but from the automatic discipline of a woman who was taught from girlhood that posture is the first thing people see before they see your face. Your maid takes a small, flat brush, not the soft one, not yet, that comes later, and she loads it with the ceruse. The first touch of it against your skin is cold, not the cold of ice. It is not that sharp. It is the cold of stone in a hallway that has been sitting away from the fire. The cold of a marble windowsill in November. A slow, patient cold settles against your forehead, just at the hairline, and spreads outward and downward as your maid draws the brush in long, even strokes. The weight of it is something no one tells you about before you begin. You feel it as it accumulates. The first layer is almost nothing, just a thin film, a cool whisper across the skin. But she will apply 3 layers this morning, sometimes 4 if the evening ahead requires it, and with each layer, you begin to feel it. Not as discomfort exactly, more as a kind of presence, as though something has arrived on your skin and decided to stay. The weight of it settles along your jaw, along the ridge of your nose, into the hollow of your temples. By the time she reaches your chin, your face feels like a different object than it did 20 minutes ago. It feels constructed. And when you look in the mirror slowly, because your maid needs your face to remain still, so you only look with your eyes, tipping them towards your reflection without moving your head, what you see is already something remarkable. The texture of your skin has disappeared, not erased, transformed. Every small irregularity, every shadow, every faint reminder that skin is a living surface that breathes and moves and ages, all of it has been filled in, smoothed over, brought to a single uniform plane. Your face in the mirror is already beginning to look like something from a painting, from a sculpture, from the kind of portrait that will hang in a hallway 300 years from now and make a person standing in front of it wonder what it must have felt like to be that beautiful. It is remarkable, and it is dissolving you. Here is what the women of this room know in the way that you know things you have stopped examining. Lead is a poison. It has always been a poison. The Romans knew. They used lead pipes and lead cookware and lead-sweetened wine for centuries, and there were physicians even then who wrote down what they observed. The trembling hands, the grey faces, the teeth that turned and fell. The knowledge has never been fully hidden. It has simply been overruled by something stronger than knowledge. The desire to be seen, because in the court of Louis XV, and in the decades before and after it, your face is not merely your face. It is your currency. It is your leverage. It is the thing that determines whether you are invited into the rooms where decisions are made or left to stand in the corridor and listen for the sound of the door. To appear aged or marked or ordinary is not simply an aesthetic failure. It is a political one. And so the ceruse stays. Your maid is on the second layer now. The brush moves with the same slow evenness. Forehead, cheeks, the bridge of the nose, the upper lip, the chin, the throat. She works without speaking. You have long since stopped making conversation during this part of the morning. There is something about this hour that neither of you has ever found words for. The intimacy of it and the strange combination of beauty and resignation that lives inside it. The second layer is warmer than the first, or perhaps your skin has simply adjusted. The cold has settled in, become a background sensation, like the weight of a blanket you've been sleeping under long enough to stop noticing. She smooths the edge along your jaw with one finger, the tip of it, barely any pressure, blending the line where the ceruse meets the skin of your neck. This is the place where the mask has its seam. This is the place where, if the light falls at a certain angle later in the evening, someone standing close to you might see the difference between what you are wearing and what you are. She is very careful at the seam. Let your breathing slow a little if it hasn't already. Let the image settle. The room, the fire, the cold, slow weight of the brush, the white face in the warped mirror that is beginning to look like a painting of you rather than you. You are not required to do anything with this information. You are simply here, watching from a safe distance of 300 years. The third layer is beginning now. The ceruse is finished. Your maid sets the brush aside on its folded cloth, and for a moment, she simply looks at you. Not with admiration, exactly. She has been looking at this face for years. Admiration has long since deepened into something more professional, something more like the quiet appraisal of a craftsperson assessing the first stage of their work before moving to the second. She nods, almost imperceptibly. Then she reaches for the flat dish. The dish is shallow, barely deeper than the rim of a coin. It is made from the same pale ceramic as the ceruse jar, but what is inside is the color of something entirely different. It is red, not the warm orange red of firelight, not the pink of a natural flush. It is a red that seems to have been decided upon by someone who wanted no ambiguity. A deep, deliberate, almost operatic red. This is your rouge. In its most common form across the 18th century, rouge is made from carmine, the pigment extracted from the cochineal insect, which lives on certain cacti in Mexico, and was brought to Europe by Spanish traders in the 1500s. It takes tens of thousands of dried insects, ground and treated with acid, to produce a single ounce of true carmine. The color is extraordinary, vivid, stable, resistant to fading, and it is, of itself, largely harmless. But not all rouge in this room is carmine. Some of the rouge available in Paris in 1772 is made from vermilion, and vermilion is made from mercury sulfide, the same mercury that physicians use, cautiously, in small doses, for certain conditions of the skin. Mercury, which moves in the blood and settles in the nerves and asks no permission before it begins its slow work. Your maid takes the softest brush now, the one that was resting on the folded cloth since the beginning of this hour. She loads it with the red powder, taps it once against the rim of the dish, a sound so small it barely exists, and she turns to your face. The placement of rouge in this period is nothing like what you might expect. There is no attempt to create a natural flush, as though the wearer has simply come in from the cold, or feels a passing warmth of emotion. That kind of naturalness is not the point, and it is not the fashion. The fashion is the opposite of natural. The fashion is a signal, deliberate, unmistakable, that you have the means, the time, and the social position to spend an hour at this table, creating a face that no one has ever worn by accident. Your maid places the rouge in a wide, round sweep across the upper cheek, not blended softly downward, but kept high, almost reaching the outer corner of your eye on both sides. Against the white of the ceruse, the red appears almost startling. If you were to walk out of this room right now, you would look to modernize like something between a painting by Fragonard and a figure in a traveling theater. But you will not walk out of this room right now. The rouge is still being applied. Your maid adds a second pass of the brush, slightly lighter than the first, extending the color just slightly toward the temple. She works from right to left, then back again, and there is something almost rhythmic about it. The soft sound of the brush against the powder in the dish, then the near silent contact of the bristles against the layer of ceruse on your cheek. The feeling is like being touched by something that is not quite a hand, a warmth without heat, a pressure without weight. You watch the mirror. The face that is assembling itself in the glass is beginning to look like the face you will wear tonight. You can see the shape of the evening in it already. The candlelit drawing rooms, the eyes moving across you as you enter, the slight adjustment in posture of the people who have been waiting to see which women will arrive and how they will arrive. You are constructing your entrance. Rest here for a moment. Let the image just sit. The rouge against the white, the brush in your maid's hand, the room filling with the smell of powder and beeswax and that faint metallic undertone that no one speaks of. You don't have to follow every detail. Just let it wash over you like something heard from the next room. The brush is set aside, and now your maid opens the velvet box. Inside the box are small, dark shapes. They are cut from black silk taffeta or black velvet. This depends on the maker, and the finest ones come from a particular shop on the Rue Saint-Honoré, whose proprietress is a woman of about 60 who has been cutting these shapes since she was a girl. They come in a range of forms: small circles, half moons, stars, tiny stylized hearts, the silhouette of a crescent, something that might be a bird if you held it to the light at a certain angle. These are the mouches. The word means flies in French. Beauty patches, artificial marks applied to the face and throat and décolletage with a small amount of adhesive, usually mastic dissolved in spirits of wine, that are meant to draw the eye, to emphasize the pallor of the skin they contrast against, and to communicate, through their placement, an entire vocabulary of social meaning that every person in the room you will enter tonight will be able to read as fluently as print. Patch at the corner of the right eye, it means coquetry. At the corner of the left, discreetness. On the chin means certainty. At the center of the cheek is a sign of bold attention. Your maid holds 2 patches on the tip of her finger, presenting them to you for a decision. You look at them for a moment. Not long. You know the room you will be entering tonight. You know whose eyes you will need to catch and whose you would rather not. You select one, a small circle. You indicate your cheek just below the outer edge of the rouge, slightly higher than your jawline. Your maid takes it between 2 fingers with the precision of a watchmaker, applies the faintest trace of adhesive to its back from a tiny brush, and presses it against your skin with one slow, even press of her fingertip. She holds it there. 3 seconds. 4. Then she lifts her finger and it remains fixed to your face, black and deliberate against the white and red of everything beneath it. You look in the mirror. The face looking back at you is finished. It is not your face exactly. It's something that has been built on top of your face. With care and precision and a great deal of knowledge, And the result is something that your world calls beautiful and means it entirely. The lead beneath it is doing its work. The mercury, if that is what this rouge contains, is doing its work. These are facts that exist in the same moment as the beauty, and they have always existed in the same moment. And you are aware of them the way you are aware of the cold of the room beyond the fire. As a thing that is real, that you have simply arranged yourself not to think about. Your maid helps you stand. You will not look in the mirror again until tonight, when you return to this room. That too is a kind of practice. You have made the face. You have sent it into the world. What it does there is no longer something you can control. The carriage arrives at the house at 8:30. By this point in the evening, the rooms are already full. You know this before you enter, because you can feel the heat of a crowded space through the large doors at the top of the stairs. A warmth different from the warmth of the fire, more humid, more complicated, carrying with it the combined sense of powder and perfume and candle smoke and the particular human warmth of 200 people who have all spent an hour at their own dressing tables preparing their own faces. The room is lit by perhaps 600 or 700 candles. Think about that slowly. Not the electric flood of light you are accustomed to, nothing that reaches into corners, nothing that removes shadow. This light is a warm, moving, slightly uncertain light. It pools around the chandeliers and loses most of its confidence before it reaches the floor. It turns everything golden at the center of a face and leaves the edges soft and indefinite. In this light, you look extraordinary. The ceruse, which in daylight has a slightly flat, chalky quality, becomes in candlelight something luminous. Your skin appears almost to glow from within, a pale, warm radiance that no amount of natural, unaltered skin can achieve in this hour. The rouge reads at the perfect register, not too bright, not lost in the golden wash of the candles. The patch on your cheek is precisely placed to catch the attention without demanding it. You move through the room, and people look, not openly, because nothing here is done openly. Every glance in this room arrives dressed as something else. But you feel it, a slight shift of someone's attention as you pass. The way a conversation pauses for the space of a breath and then resumes. You have practiced the feeling of being looked at for so long that it no longer feels like external observation. It simply feels like the correct arrangement of the air. But there is something else underneath that feeling too. There is the awareness of the mask. You know, in the way you know many things you have arranged not to think about too clearly, that the face you are wearing has limits. The ceruse, for all of its beauty, does not move the way skin moves. If you laugh fully openly, the way you might laugh in your own rooms with people you have known since childhood, the surface will crack, not dramatically, not in large, visible fissures, but in the fine lines around your eyes, in the crease that forms at the corner of your mouth. Tiny fractures in the white surface catch the light at certain angles and reveal the seam, and so you have learned a different kind of smile. One that moves the lips but keeps the eyes still. One that suggests warmth without committing to it. Smile that your face can execute without requiring the kind of full muscular engagement that would disturb the surface. You have been practicing this smile for so long that it is no longer a decision. It arrives on your face the way fluent language arrives, without translation, without effort, simply as the form that expression takes in this context and tested. But it costs something. You won't name it. You simply feel it somewhere under the lead and the rouge and the scent of your own perfume as a kind of flatness, a slight dimming of something you can't quite locate. The evening continues. An hour in, 2 hours. The candles burn down and are replaced so quietly and efficiently by servants moving at the edge of your vision that it is as though the light maintains itself, as though the room has a will to remain bright. You drink a little wine. You do not eat, not here, not in these rooms, not in a corset that has been laced to a specific measurement, and not with a face that must be preserved until the carriage comes. Food is for later, at home at the small table by your own fire, with the pins removed from your hair and the face still on, because removing it tonight will take its own ritual and you are too tired to think about it yet. Sometime around midnight, you notice your hands. This is something that has been happening for a little over 2 years now. A slight reluctance in the fingers, a faint unsteadiness in the grip. You first noticed it holding a letter opener, then a wine glass, then your own brush, in this very room, the morning after a long evening that required many layers.
Your physician
has said things. You have listened to approximately half of them. The half you chose to hear was this: rest and moderation. The half you set aside was the part about the ceruse, about the cumulative nature of its work inside you, not the surface work, not the beautiful work, but the other work, the slow work that does not show in any mirror. Lead does not leave the body easily. It arrives in the blood, and from the blood it moves, in time, into the bones, where it is stored, where it waits, where it becomes part of the structure that holds you upright. It moves also into the brain, small, patient quantities, accumulating the way interest accumulates on a debt, not always visible month to month, but present in the accounting, always growing. The trembling in the hands is one of its early signatures. The headaches, which have been arriving more frequently since autumn, are another. There are women in this room who are further along the same road. You know which ones without being told, not because they have spoken of it, because no one speaks of it, but because you have learned to read certain things in the way a woman holds her wine glass, or stands very still near a wall between conversations, or excuses herself early and does not return. There is a woman across the room whose teeth, when she smiles her own careful smile, are slightly grey at the gum line. There is another whose skin, in the moments when her face is at rest and the candlelight falls at an honest angle, shows something beneath the white that looks less like pallor and more like depletion. You do not look at them for long, not out of cruelty, out of something more complicated. The recognition that the distance between them and you is only one of time, and that looking too long would require acknowledging what you are looking at. Let your body be still for a moment. Feel the weight of the blanket or the mattress or wherever you are resting right now. Feel the temperature of the room, the safe, ordinary temperature of the present, which asks nothing of you. You are 300 years away from that room. The candles in it burned out long ago. The house outside Paris was sold, divided, built over. The women who stood in those rooms with their beautiful, constructed faces, their lives are known to us now only through paintings and letters and the occasional inventory of a dressing table recorded in an estate date document by a notary who listed the contents without comment. A ceramic jar, white, sealed, a small flat dish, red, a velvet box, small dark shapes within, items of the toilet, listed in careful handwriting, valued in leaves, assigned to whoever came next. The carriage brings you home. The city outside the window passes in pieces. A lantern on a post, the outline of a church tower against a sky that is not quite dark. The voices of people you cannot see, who are still somewhere in the middle of their evening while yours is ending. You are tired in a way that is different from the tiredness of labor. It is the tiredness of sustained performance. The tiredness of a face that has been held in a particular arrangement for 5 hours, of a body that has been conscious of itself every moment, of a mind that has been reading every room and every expression and every silence for information. Since the moment you stepped through those doors, you lean your head back against the seat of the carriage and close your eyes. Not to sleep, you will not sleep yet, but to give your face permission, for the first time since morning, to be something other than arranged. When you arrive home, your maid is waiting. She has been waiting for you. This is her last task of the day, the one that mirrors the first. The unhurried, careful process of taking back what the morning built. She has a bowl of warm water on the table and a cloth that has been soaked and wrung out to almost dryness, and a jar of cold cream, a mixture of beeswax and rosewater and almond oil that will serve as the solvent for the surface you are still wearing. She begins at your forehead. The cold cream goes on first. She works it in with her fingertips in slow, circular movements, and you feel the ceruse beginning to shift, not dissolving instantly, but loosening, becoming something different, releasing its grip on the skin beneath it. It is a strange sensation, not unpleasant. There is something in it that is almost a relief. The release of something that has been held in place all day, the return of movement to a surface that was not permitted to move. The cloth follows the cream, and what comes away on the cloth is something remarkable in its own way. The white and red, and the small round shadow where the patch was, all of it transferred to the cloth in slow, gentle removal, leaving behind a face that your mirror has not seen since this morning. Your own face. The skin beneath the ceruse is flushed from the hours of coverage and slightly dry and marked after these years. The faint grey undertone that those who know what to look for will recognize, and those who don't will simply read as tiredness or age or the natural complexion of a woman of this particular era, which does not expect skin to look like anything except evidence of the life it has been living. Your maid works without speaking. There has always been a different quality to the silence in this part of the hour. The morning silence is purposeful. It is the silence of preparation, of concentration, of building something that will be sent out into the world. This silence is something else. This is the silence of two people who have been performing for an audience all day and are now, finally, alone together in the aftermath of it. The cloth moves over your cheek and down along your jaw and under your chin, and the face in the mirror returns to you, slowly, incrementally, the way morning light returns to a room. Let that image be your last one. The room, the low fire, the bowl of warm water going faintly pink as your maid rinses the cloth. The mirror, which now holds a face that is simply a face, unwhitened, unpainted, unpatched, unperformed. The woman in the mirror looks tired. She also looks real, in a way that the woman from 6 hours ago did not. Slow, and there is something in that realness, something honest and private and undefended, that is its own kind of beauty, even if no one in the rooms she visits tonight would have recognized it as such. You are not required to solve that paradox tonight. No one is. This is the archive. This is the quiet end of the story, and the story has set you down gently. the way a careful hand sets down something it has been carrying for a long time. You have walked through a room in 1772. You have watched a face being built and worn and removed. You have been present for something ordinary and extraordinary at the same time, the daily ritual of a woman who wanted, above everything, to be seen and paid for that wanting in a currency that doesn't appear on any receipt. Now the fire is very low. The cloth has been folded and set aside. The jars are closed. The brush is resting on its folded cloth, where it will wait until morning. The room is quiet. You can let go of the image now. Let it drift. Let the room and the mirror and the candle-lit drawing rooms and the careful smile and the weight of the white face, let all of it soften. The way old glass softens everything at the edges, curves it inward, makes the reflection something between real and imagined. You are here, in the present, which is safe and warm and asks nothing of your face. Let your breathing slow down one more time, in and out. The archive is closing for tonight. The past is settling. Good night.